Hi everyone, how are you? Happy Monday evening. I wanted to pop on today to talk to you about email marketing, which will be the focus for this week on the page and on the group. So I chose email marketing because it's something really that we can all do and we can all benefit from. Now, email marketing is basically when you send emails to your prospective customers. It's a form of direct marketing, so that means that it's a way to directly get in contact with your customers, which is great because that's what we want to do. We want to know that we're speaking directly to them. One of the huge benefits for email marketing is that it has a really high conversion rate. So in other words, people are likely to open them, and then the people who are likely to open them are also then quite likely to go onto your website and see your products. Now, I'm not saying that everyone will. Sadly, that's not feasible, but it is one of the most successful forms of direct marketing out there. And that's why we get so many emails from such big companies. I mean, if it didn't work, they wouldn't use it. So that's why it's really useful, and it's great for us as well, because as small businesses, we can make the most of it as well. So there are various types of email we can send, obviously. So there's welcomes, we can send newsletters, we can send seasonal offers, new product launches, any events that we've got coming up, we can directly invite people. So there's a whole array of emails that you can send people within email marketing. It doesn't have to just be promotions, it can be general news. I like to send out a new email every time I do a video so that it lets my my email list know that they can find some information. So you can use it really for a whole variety of things. And you can use specialist email marketing companies, so things like MailChimp, ConvertKit, there's a whole array. Those are just who I've recently been looking into, but there are plenty more out there. You can send it manually through Gmail, but when you've got a list of, say, 1,000 subscribers, you're not really going to want to send 1,000 emails out. You'll have to excuse me for checking my notes, but I was going to do this earlier when Robert woke up, so I'm a bit thrown, but we've got all the details, so it's fine. But if I keep looking over, it's just to check my notes. So the benefits of email marketing. First of all, it's quite cheap to do. You can pay people to do it, but you can quite easily do it yourself. You can sign up to systems, but again, there are some free options out there to trial to start with. So it's not like you have to go and place a direct ad. And one of the things that you need to consider is on social media, not everyone sees your posts. It is likely, well, the statistics show that 90% of people who you email will actually get the email in their inbox. So that shows you how much of an impact you can create with an email and how you can directly connect to people. Whereas on social media, Facebook, Instagram, it's not always that guaranteed. So it's definitely worth having a look at. So another benefit is people have signed up to your list, or they've given you their email, which shows that they're interested in you. Even with emails, which are quite impersonal, we don't give them out to everyone. So if someone has given you their email address, there's a reason. They want to hear from you. So they're interested. So you've got almost a warm lead rather than a cold lead. You can include a variety of media, so you can do text, you can do images, you can do video links. Just make sure that you don't have too big of files, because that won't necessarily send. But if you do want to share videos, a great way to do it is upload it to YouTube or Zoom or something like that, and just send them the link so they can still access it, but you haven't actually got it sent as part of the email. Obviously, emails can be personalized and you can segment them. So you can send one email to a group of people who are interested in a certain service or who do a certain thing or a certain age group. So you don't have to send every email to everyone. And you can also test as well. So you can test different subject lines, see what works, see what doesn't work, test different content. So it's a great idea of, well, a great way of measuring what works and what doesn't. You can also obviously use emails to build relationships, especially if you send personal emails. That's a brilliant way. And you can personalize emails as it is. Also, emails are less intrusive. They fit around a customer's life. A customer will choose when they want to check their email. I posted in Monday Musings over on the group this week that I was getting fed up of Facebook ads. I'm scrolling through my page and I get kind of, for every 4 posts, it seems like one is an advert, and it's starting to really frustrate me. Whereas you go on your emails at certain points in the day to check them, and it's up to you when you see them. They're not forced at you, which is another huge advantage. And also they're time saving. So if you go for an email marketing company like MailChimp or ConvertKit, you can set up automations. So in other words, when someone signs up to your service, they get a welcome email and things like that. So you don't necessarily have to do it. There are some disadvantages to emails. First of all, spam. Don't spam people. People really don't like it. Make sure that they're interested in your service, and don't email anyone who isn't. Also, certain subject lines can be classified as spam even if they're not. So things that include things like free, click here, or cash, or something with pound signs. So avoid those if you can. The other disadvantage is you might choose to outsource, in which case there's a bigger cost. However, that's personal. You may choose to do it yourself, which is fine. So let's have a look now at, we've looked at some disadvantages and advantages of emails and what it is. So let's have a look at some kind of things we need to remember. So to send emails, you must have email addresses. I know that sounds really simple, but it's a point I've got to note. You can do this by offering an incentive, something in exchange for an email. So this could be freebies, it could be sign up to my newsletter to get the latest discounts. It could be webinars that you do, you know, for someone to access a webinar, they need to give you their email address. I was reading an article yesterday, and one of the things that's most important is to only capture what you need. One of the big companies I looked at said that they'd tested different, what they asked for, first name, surname, email address, and the thing they got the most leads from is if they just asked for their email address. Now, obviously that doesn't help you segment it unless you can say, okay, I've got one list that is, or out of my general list, I'm also going to include a category within that of people who've bought once, bought twice, etc. So that's how you can segment it, even if you've just got email addresses. But you must only capture what you need, especially for GDPR. If you're based in the UK, if you do pop on, I'd love to see you and for someone to say hi if you can. I know it's a bit of an odd time, lots of people are cooking tea. Now, in terms of best practice, you'll have a list. So every 12 months, I always suggest going through your list and removing anyone who hasn't opened any of your emails. Obviously, that's based on you sending regular emails. In terms of how often to send emails, it's down to you. Just make it consistent. It can be once a month, it could be weekly. I always think it depends on what information you've got to share. If you've got no information, don't bother. If you've got something new or something that your customers are interested in and your list might be interested in, then email when you've got some news. If you can keep it consistent and try at least once a month, but then throw in the odd one, that's fine. But don't feel you have to do it every week. On your from email address, make sure that it's something linked to your company, and also make sure that it can be replied to. One of the key things with GDPR is you've got to give people a way to unsubscribe if they want, and you need to really include that in your emails. But if they've got a contact address, they can also email you directly, which will mean that they can say, I don't want to be on your list, please unsubscribe me. As I said, avoid spam words, so avoid things like free, cash, pound signs, exclamation marks, anything that might make you seem like you're not a person and you're just trying to get more sales. Now, in terms of subject lines, you need to make it effective, ideally 50 characters or less, and you can personalize it. If you can, offer a sense of urgency, use words that would interest your customer. So again, go back to your ideal client, think what would interest them in their life, what problems have you got, and base your subject lines around the problems that they've got. There are thousands of websites out there, and I'm not going to go into loads of detail on what the best subject lines are, but things like how to or 5 ways to do so and so. You can even just share your marketing message. The next thing to think is what time to send. Now, there's lots of evidence out there, the best time to send, as there is with posts and things. The thing I found an article saying the best 3 times are Tuesday at 10 a.m. in the morning, Thursday at 8 p.m. and Wednesday at 2 p.m. So that's general guidance. It may be different for your industry. Avoid Monday or Fridays and possibly weekends because people are busy. Now, the other thing you must do with any marketing, not just email marketing, is measure your results. There's no point in putting all this effort in if you don't know what's working. And emails are great because you can see how many people have clicked through, how many people have bought. So that is really, really useful. In the past, before GDPR was a thing, also prominent, I did buy email lists. I've stopped doing that now. It did bring me a couple of sales in my bridal business, and it was interesting to track them because I could be like, oh yeah, that person came from that. But you have to be so careful. I would much rather get emails from customers that I've spoken to or people I've spoken to at wedding fairs rather than just buy data. You don't know how clear it is. You might get people writing down the wrong email address. I personally, if you desperately need it, go and do some research and possibly buy some data. But if you can avoid it, create a freebie and get people who are interested in you. It's a lot easier. It's the difference between cold leads and warm leads. If they've come to you, brilliant, that's going to make it so much easier. If they haven't ever heard of you, then it's going to be a bit more of a fight and you may just go into unsubscribe or I do not want to hear. Also, I've noticed recently on my phone that there's an automatic, and this is quite interesting for email marketing, there's an automatic thing that pops up and says you haven't opened emails from this company within a month or a week. Do you want to unsubscribe? So the phone's actually saying, look, this is coming through. Is it annoying you? So that's something to be wary of with phones as well, because obviously as technology changes and as it upgrades, they're becoming more responsive to what customers want. However, that can impact marketing, so just bear that in mind. So 5 quick ways to make it stand out, to make your email stand out, is have a short subject line, keep everything in your email relevant, consistent and engaging. Include a call to action, even if that's check out my blog post, join our Facebook group, have a look on the business page, anything, or let us know how you're getting on. It doesn't have to be buy, it can be buy, and that's fine, but do include something that they have to do because that's an easy way to see what's working. Obviously, include an option to opt out at the bottom, and measure your results. So please don't be put off by email marketing. It's really fun to do. It's interesting to see what results you get from it and what's working and what isn't. Yes, it can take a bit of time to build the list, but that's not a problem because while you're building your list, you can be drafting email ideas. You can be thinking, right, what can I share? And again, with emails, you don't have to come up with new content. One of the biggest jobs in any business, especially now with social media, is constantly coming up with content. But you don't need new content every time. You can reuse. You write a blog, send an email about it, include a link to the blog. You do a video, send an email about it. You don't have to reinvent the wheel. You can share what you've done. It doesn't have to be new all the time. Of course, you need some new. I'm not saying just keep sharing one video, but by all means, kind of share what you do, and also include newsletters. I love reading newsletters from my kind of mentors and coaches and see how they are in real life, not just business. So don't be afraid to include something a little bit personal. It will make you stand out. What you want is you want someone to see your email and be like, oh, I really want to read that. And if you just share sales things, people are going to get fed up of it. If you share things that are useful to them, they're going to be a lot happier. But we're coming to the end now. One thing I want you to walk away with from this is to know that 90% of emails get delivered to the right inbox. That's a lot greater than how many people see you on social media. So if you're going to focus on something next month, we're coming close to February, please have a look at emails. There's lots of guidance. I'm going to share all my tips as normal. There is, hi, whoever's on. I can see someone, but it hasn't said who it is. If you want to leave a comment, that'd be brilliant. We're just talking about email marketing. So 90% of emails get delivered to the right inbox. I think it's 20% of posts get seen by one person. So that shows the difference. So it is a great way to contact your customers or your prospective customers and keep in the forefront of their mind. So I hope you have a lovely Monday night. I don't know what we're doing tonight. I know I've got a bit of work to do. Oh, I'm making Mum's birthday cake because it's mine and my mum's birthday on Thursday. So I'm going to get that done tonight. Nothing like leaving it to the last minute, but it should be fine. So yeah, that's our plan for tonight. But I hope you're having a lovely night, whatever you're doing. And let me know how you got on with email marketing. I'd love to know. Take care. Bye.